Records of the Unknown, Operation Latency, contains horror elements that may be disturbing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to an Atomic Broadcasting production, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation. And remember, do your part, such as like, comment, rate, and don't forget to tell a friend to tune in for an Atomic Time.
Operation Latency, November 17th, 1952. Our agents have just taken off from Washington State in a seaplane on their way to a small town in Alaska called Hervalin. It is currently a storm, quite torrential in nature, mostly rain, very strong winds, lightning, thunder.
Dr. Sylvester Steele is strapped in, tired perhaps, and is comfortable in the seat, but he's just uncomfortable hearing the engines roaring in the plane, and then also with the weather beating against it. It's just very uncomfortable trying to puff on a drenched cigarette that was handed to him.
Yeah. I had mentioned last episode that Corporal Adams was startled by the start of the engine of the plane, but I wanted to say that once that initial shock is over, he's actually very comfortable looking on the plane, even despite the bad weather. It was just the initial noise, and he kind of looking over at the doctor and smirking a little bit. First time flying?
Certainly have flown a few times, but it's just the sound of these engines roaring. It's never comfortable. I think I took the folder we had with the information for this mission, and I'm going to look at it and try to make sure I memorize the number we were given to contact back.
Yes. That should be easy enough.
Okay. Once I have memorized that, I will hand the information off to... I'll hand it off to Corporal Adams to also then be able to look over the information if he wants.
I will take it and begin perusing, though paperwork is not my strong suit, so I'm just kind of giving it a cursory glance.
The information is fairly brief. They didn't have a lot of information to give out about the situation, but they felt it was urgent enough to send out a group here. Nothing new that the handler did not tell you before.
Are there any images in the folder from the victims or even the plant?
Oddly enough, there's no images of the plant, because they did say that they had looked over some of the botanist's reportings to wherever she's getting her doctorate. They were looking over the reports from her university, but they don't have any images there. When it comes to images of the victims, they're one very recent and two in a very remote situation. So no photographs had been sent to them.
Just one quick point of clarification, Nolan. You said your character is British, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to... Corporal Adams was going to look over at the doctor and... So, how does a British doctor join up with a American agency?
Well, certainly seen in our times that allies come together for certain threats, and I think you would have known what we've seen such things that this agency particularly handles.
Fair enough. How about you, ma'am? Been awful quiet?
Because I'm trying to focus on flying in this storm.
Fair enough.
And I'd appreciate it if you boys didn't light those cigarettes.
My apologies.
Sorry about that, ma'am.
Smokes up the windshield, and it's hard enough to see in this rain.
Put it out on something. There's an ashtray on the plane.
I had a run-in with them a while back, and decided to join up.
A couple hours have passed. From the maps that he gave you with the plane, you are fairly confident you're getting fairly close, perhaps within about 30 minutes or so. The storm is starting to loosen up when lightning bolt strikes very close to the plane. You're not really for sure if it hit it or not, but something seems to stop working. Now, with your piloting skill, I'm not going to make you roll to try and keep the plane going, but something is definitely wrong with the plane. But I think you'd feel confident enough that you could still get to your destination and look at repairs possibly later.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. But we'll see what happens when we hit the ground. Everyone keep your seatbelts tight.
I don't think mine will go any tighter.
I can give you mine if it'll make you feel better.
No, thank you.
In a moment that feels like you've bursted through the fog, you come out into almost a clearing of the clouds, and you see a bay before you. Looks like there's a large fishing vessel, there's docks set up, you see a small town. Seems to be a lot of people moving. It's hard to see what's going on, but the rain and everything seems to have let out, and that is when the plane dies.
Okay.
Bernadette, as this plane has suddenly died and you're needing to land this plane on the water, would you roll a piloting check?
I will.
Here we go.
59 under 80.
All right. So the plane dies. It's clearing. The weather's starting to calm down here. And you're able to guide the plane down in a descent and land on the waters, though still very torrential. The waters are. You were able to land, and you're fairly close to the docks.
Like, close enough we could climb out and...
You might need something to help kind of pull you in if you want to get that close, but you are fairly close to that.
Okay.
Is there a rope on the plane?
Yes.
I'll grab that just in case I need to lasso the dock or something.
Something akin to that would be needed. Would you have an athletics score?
Yes, 50.
Would you roll that?
Yes. 70 over 50.
Oof.
Okay. As Corporal Adams, you get the rope out. The waves are still rocking the boat quite significantly. And you go to throw it. You find your mark, but your feet lose theirs. And you fall into the water.
Ah! Into the water I go.
You go into the water. It feels deeper than it should be. With the waves moving around, you're never really sure how deep under you are. What is your awareness?
70.
Abby and Nolan, could you close your ears for a bit?
Uh-oh.
Corporal Adams, as you're getting your bearings back together, falling under this water, trying to understand where you're at currently, you're looking off into the deepness of the ocean in front of you. There's a flash of lightning, illuminating the area in front of you, and you see a silhouette. Not quite a human silhouette, something bigger, almost like the size of a whale, but it almost has a humanoid shape. Where its head is, you can see towards the top it's like a vertical split in the head for just that brief second. You can see the silhouette go up, and yet there's a large hole, kind of where a mouth would be open almost, but vertical. Would you make a sanity check at this?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Remind me how I do that.
So your current sanity, and then you'll roll against the score. What is your current sanity?
40.
Oh, that's not very high.
It's not, and 44 over 40.
Well, that's a critical fail.
Yes, it is.
Which means you lose 4.
Great.
So about as quickly as Corporal Adams went under, he comes shooting back up pretty swiftly.
Once I am able to get up from my seat, I'll just make sure I can hold on and help lift him back into the plane.
I'll take his hand and try to pull myself back up.
Pull him back up, Doctor. As he's like, you're pulling him back up and holding on to him. For a second, you get like the faint smell of blood.
Thank you, Doctor.
Try to give him a look over. Did you hit yourself against the plane as you fell in?
I kind of looked myself over. I don't think so. Am I uninjured?
You look fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess not. It's very cold.
I would imagine just feeling the breeze on the bay, the weather.
At this point, you guys feel this plane is starting to get pulled towards the dock as someone on the dock is pulling you guys in.
Turn around and look.
It's a guy in like a poncho and a hood and such.
As soon as we get close enough, I'm going to hop from the plane to the dock.
All right. As you hop up, this figure helps you up too. And he's like, "What are you guys okay? What are you doing here? I didn't get any word there was a plane landing here."
I'm sorry about the inconvenience. CIA, I'm Agent Adams.
I am Agent Steele.
All right. Is everyone up on the dock?
Where's Birdie?
She's probably left the plane by now and checking it over to see what happened.
We're on the water with it, so.
Right.
Yeah.
As much as she can see.
I think to get a good read, you'd probably need to wait for the weather to calm down.
Okay. Do I see where the lightning may have hit it?
You look over at that spot, you're able to kind of glance over there. It doesn't look like it was struck by anything.
Oh.
And then you are also helped up onto the dock.
My apologies for no notice being given. We're here on official government business.
All right. Well, I would have appreciated a call. What are you guys doing here?
It's classified.
Yes, apology about it. It is classified. Did you happen to know where Ronald Stein is? I believe he's the dockmaster.
That's
of
me.
town. You are Ronald?
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
It's good to meet you, too. Let's get inside. You need to towel
Yes.
off.
You need to get this man warmed up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And he takes you over to a kind of large dock house nearby. And there's already like a fire going at the fireplace. And he quickly kind of runs over and grabs some towels and blankets.
Yeah, I'm going straight for the fire.
It's a heck of a time for you guys to get here. Everything going on in town.
Oh, yes, about that. I mean, we heard it was urgent business, of course, and things are classified. But could you tell us what you know about things going on? You seem to hear some things are happening.
Well, there's just something's going on. A couple of people died recently. Sheriff hasn't been too open about what's going on fully, but he's over trying to get the mine shut down right now, and that's not going over well. You guys said you were CIA?
Correct.
Sorry, I just don't know why you guys would be here. I haven't... Yeah. Anyway, yes. So, can I help you guys with anything, I suppose?
Are you familiar with Henriette Bunsen?
Henriette Bunsen. Oh, that sounds familiar. She one of you guys? CIA agent too, or something?
No, she's a researcher that we've heard is stationed up here.
Oh, she's that botanist. Right, yeah, she's over in the county jail right now. Or whatever, suffice to say, counts as a jail around here.
What was she arrested for?
Murder.
Murder?
That's what the sheriff says. Killed that doctor, Dr. Kent. Uriah. I don't imagine he'd need much help from CIA agents, but, yeah, there's a lot going on. There was just another murder, or death. He thinks it's connected over in the mines. He's kind of starting to cordon it off, but
What's the sheriff's name?
Yeah, his name's John. John Gibson. He's our quote-unquote sheriff around here.
Are there any deputies under him?
Yeah. It's just Lucas Bars.
Thank you.
They're the two around here.
You said the sheriff's over at the mine.
Yeah, do you guys need me to get the plane pulled in and looked at or anything?
If you could just get it pulled in, I'll take a look at it later.
Okay, I'll get my boys on it. We gotta clear the docks out for the fishers. They're gonna be taking off here shortly, and I don't want anything in the way.
That's fair.
Thank you, Mr. Stein.
Oh yeah, not a problem. It's all just very sudden. Sorry.
I wish we could have given you more notice.
I wish so too. We'll get things taken care of. You guys take some time. There's some food over there if you need some.
I do have one other question for you, Mr. Stein.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about Dan Haley?
What can I tell you about Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, family man. His dad opened up the mine a while back. He runs it for him. He's a pretty good guy. Takes care of his miners. Not always the nicest to me. In fact, he's kind of a jerk sometimes to me. I don't know why. I think he's just jealous of the fishing trade sometimes, you know. We often pull in a lot more than the miners do. His dad used to be the main export, and now our export's shifting over.
I see.
You know, he's
A little bit of a rivalry then.
I guess so. He likes to think he helps run the town, but it's really mostly me.
I see.
You say you run this town. Is there not a mayor or other position above the sheriff?
Not officially at the moment. Technically, the sheriff's not official either. But, you know,
You take care of this place. Okay.
yeah, the town's not really been big enough before that we've really gone through all the hoopla of putting together official government statuses around here. We just kind of live our life. Town's getting bigger. We'll probably have to change that sometime soon. At least that's what I keep saying. We call John the sheriff because his dad was a peacekeeper around here back in the day. So he just kind of keeps it going, like a lot of us.
I see. You have any more questions for him, Doctor, or...
I can't really stay for any more questions. I got a lot to do. Like I said, wasn't expecting you. There's leftover food from the dinner over here if you want some. But I gotta head out.
Of course, you've been very generous with your time.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Stein. And if we have any other questions that we think you might be able to help us with, we will come back here.
Of course, yeah. And if you end up needing a place to stay, just let me know.
Actually, I do not believe we had any accommodations set up, so that would be very helpful.
All right, I'll figure something out for you, 3.
Thank you, Mr. Stein.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
And I'm just curious, looking at him, how old does he look? Just as general
Anywhere
seafaring.
from like late 50s, early 60s.
Okay. Because I'm curious, because he mentioned, of course, the sheriff and Dan Haley, the mine owner, both inherited their positions from their family. So I was curious if he might be in the same position, just not saying it, but he's older, so.
Yeah. Right now he's like fairly padded up with a hood, but
Yeah.
so you can kind of get that vibe from him. So he takes off, kind of raises up some more gear, and then heads outside.
I hobble my way over with my cane, kind of clunking against the floor, over to where they said they had dinner before. Imagine it's fish if they're a fishing village.
There's some fish, there's some meat that would be locally hunted, probably, and some vegetables.
Imagine we've been flying for a while, so I do take a bit of this bread.
It has been several hours.
Corporal Adams is still trying to get warm by the fire, and anybody who's even somewhat paying attention to him sees him pull out his pack of cigarettes, and with shakier hands than you saw him before, light one and just kind of...
So I imagine you take some time to get some food in you guys, take some time for the corporal to warm up. And it looks like these storms have pretty much passed almost entirely. You can start to see the sunset.
I get up and look out. Is there a window that I can look out? Does it look like they've gotten the plane to the dock?
It looks like he's yelling at some guys to start working on it.
I'll need to get my bag from the plane before we leave here. I'm not going to leave it there.
So make sure we want to pack whatever we've got as we go. I'm curious what kind of accommodations that he's aware of. But it'd also be good to make contact with Dan Haley. I know we're supposed to kind of be careful of the sheriff, but I still think it'd be good to figure out where he's at as well in the situation.
Yeah, we're also going to need to go find the botanist, who's apparently in jail.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the sheriff is out and we might be able to convince Lucas Barrs to let us talk to her.
Probably be easier. I might be able to work on him, so to speak. Question is, do we want to split up or...
Not until we know where we'd be meeting back together, at least.
Fair enough.
I don't know that it's necessary right now.
Nothing's too urgent yet.
Mm-hmm. Trying to make sure that your gear gets dried up as best we can. Miss Bellamy, thank you for the delivery to this town, of course. It's
special delivery.
You got us all here in one piece, so appreciate it.
Yeah. This isn't anything I haven't flown in before. I just wish I knew what hit us.
That wasn't lightning?
I thought it was. But I couldn't see any obvious damage to the plane. At least not yet. I haven't actually looked it over thoroughly yet, so who's to say what happened?
Yes.
Well, that's weird. It's not the only weird thing that's happened since we got here.
Excuse me?
When I fell in the water, I thought I saw something, a shape.
What kind of shape?
It was big, too big to be a person, but it was kind of, it was kind of obscured, but it could just be my eyes playing tricks on me, but I can't really describe exactly what it is I saw.
I mean, there's plenty of wildlife around here. It could have been a seal or something.
Could have been.
Another point of business I think we need to remember is that they want us to contact them from the sanitarium phone.
Well, that's going to be an ordeal, but...
Yes.
He did say you could. He didn't say you have.
I still think it'd be good to know that we are stranded here until we get our plane fixed.
Well, so a typical Delta Green operation, if they're sending you here, could take anywhere from a week to several months. However, it could, if it's broken, it could be a useful thing to let them know. So the door opens up and Ronald Stein comes through. And he's like, "All right, I got your plane up in Bay 2 over there, so you guys can get your stuff out. And do you guys need us to look it over or do anything to it while we have it? Or do you just want us to leave it there till you're ready to head out? I got the space."
If you would just leave it there, I'll give it a good thorough search later when this weather clears up.
Of course, and my men have done plenty of work on seaplanes, so if you need anything, we can touch her up and get her ready to head back out. We get our fair share coming through town every now and again.
I appreciate that.
It's in Bay 2. Is that bay able to be locked up?
No, they're pretty open.
Okay.
Usually it's boats and such, but we have some modifications so we can get the planes out of the water and look them over.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but it works.
Do you have any information on the accommodations that you talked about?
Nah, not right now. My shift's kind of almost over for the day, and I'll ask around. If I can't find someone with better hospitality, then you guys can I got some spare stuff here, and you guys can stay here. But I'm hoping I could maybe find you guys a better place to stay, something more accommodating.
Appreciate that.
We don't really have like a bed and breakfast up here. We don't get that many people. But people have empty rooms, you know.
Do you know of anyone in town that perhaps has snowmobiles or other machinery that we could perhaps make use of?
Well, we have some stuff to travel with. There is Abe Rogers has a car. There are some roads. They're not necessarily the safest, and they don't go everywhere. But we have a lot of folks kind of a few miles outside of town. Most of them walk into town, but occasionally I'll see someone with a car or something. But we don't really have any mechanics in the area, so when they break down, it's kind of all they got. So, if you need a ride or something, you might be able to find someone. Like I said, Abe, he's pretty nice. You could probably borrow something from him. Snowmobile-wise, we don't really have a lot of those around here. We don't do a lot of far traveling in the area.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out to the plane and I'm going to retrieve my duffel bag that I brought with me.
It's a little wet, but it's good.
I'll travel with the group out to the plane, make sure I have anything I would have packed equipment-wise. Perhaps a simple case of clothes, and other than that, like the first aid equipment I'd need in the event of injury. So,
Okay.
and I would like to, if I can assist, or if I can also just kind of look over the plane, see any damage it might have. Not even like looking for lightning, but if there's also like a hole that doesn't look like it was meant to be there.
Abby's looking something up. She's doing research.
She is.
On the
Look
fly.
at those planes.
I don't know. I just want to find. I don't know. I want to find a way to prevent people from taking the plane.
Oh, okay. Like, the thing's not going to be locked up, but I'm sure there's a way to disengage it. Also, it doesn't seem to be currently working.
I mean, that's fair, but you never know.
My concern before was asking if people locked up with people either tampering with the plane or taking our stuff, which is why I want to make sure we have everything we brought.
Right.
But yes, I have search of 40 if I'm looking at the plane, or do you would prefer another skill?
You wanna cover?
Okay.
Can I do it too? I have a search of 80.
Yeah. I'm not sure if another skill would be better.
Yeah, searches. I don't know.
Heavy machinery would also be great.
Use craft mechanic.
Yeah, you have craft mechanic?
Mhm.
Okay. So you guys could roll, if you guys want to take the time. This will take a little bit of time, like maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Do we have that amount of time?
Yeah, what time of day is it now that we're here?
So at this point, the sun is completely gone, and because you guys were in there for like a couple hours drying off, so it's probably about 6:45ish.
So there's no daylight.
Yeah, and looking it over, and darkness probably isn't going to be too worth it.
I mean, if you wanted to, we'd use some flashlights or something.
Yeah, I was
You
thinking we'd have
could,
those.
like some work lights and such in the bay, or you could wait till day in the morning and look it over then.
Personally, I think I'd prefer to wait until daylight.
There will always be a little bit of daylight, but
Not a lot.
But it won't be a lot. So you'll have a couple hours of daylight probably tomorrow to look it
Okay.
over.
I don't think the plane's going to get stolen overnight, but I could be wrong.
I'm going to find a way to disengage it.
Disconnect the battery or something.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm paranoid.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much time to look over this. I think it'd be better to make the rounds before everyone else is heading to sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
So, are you guys wanting to go to the mine to check that out? Is that what you're saying? Or to check out on Dan, or do you want to go straight to the jail?
The doctor said he wanted to talk to Dan first, right? That's what you said?
Well, I was
Or-
thinking we can talk to the. I don't know where the sheriff's at. The Ronald mentioned
he was with...
he was at the
mine.
mine trying to get it shut down, or at least he's trying to get it shut down. I think it'd be worthwhile to go meet the botanist
Do
without the
that.
sheriff there.
Okay, do that first.
It might be easier if it's just the deputy there to
Yeah.
be able to talk to her. Yes, but yeah, I'd like to talk to the botanist before the sheriff knows we're in town. If we have time, go talk to Dan Haley.
then I think our best option is to leave for the jail now, and then see where that takes us.
As you guys are heading over there, you can definitely see a lot of people going in and out of the Haley bar.
We might want to hit that up later.
Yeah. Get some more local gossip, perhaps.
Yeah, people talk. Get a few drinks in them, they talk even more.
I agree.
For the most part, the quote-unquote streets are fairly empty. There's kind of like the main area is kind of like it's kind of a circle where there's buildings all around the circle. But other than that, there's not like sidewalks and streets and such. It's just kind of this open circle in the middle of town. And you guys are able to kind of cut right through it to the jail.
We go in.
You step in and you see a man behind the desk. He looks really bored. Looks like he probably matches Corporal Adams in like size. And he kind of looks up and is like, he looks up quickly and then he quickly looks perplexed because he does not recognize your faces. He's like, who are you guys? What are you doing here?
We have badges, right?
Yeah.
I will flash my badge. CIA Agent Adams.
He kind of gets up, his feet no longer like propped on the desk, and he straightens up for a minute. He's like, Sheriff didn't tell me anything about CIA agents coming into town.
Nobody knew we were coming. I take it you are Lucas Bars.
Yes, sir. I am. What's going on?
We're just here in town doing a little bit of an investigation. It's classified, you understand. But we were hoping to speak with your detainee, Miss Henriette.
Jeez, I'm not sure if I can let you do that.
Why not?
Well, she's a murder suspect right now, and the sheriff's currently investigating. I don't know if we're not generally supposed to let outside people in on the investigations. Here, I can go get the sheriff and you can talk to him real quick. I'm sure he might be cool with it.
I don't know if that'll be necessary. We are federal agents on a federal investigation. We are not interested in the murders, and we're also not here to make judgment on whether or not she's guilty or not. But we just have a few questions for her with an unrelated subject.
That seems awfully coincidental. Listen, the sheriff's supposed to be back any minute now. Why don't you guys just wait and talk to him? Like, I'm sure it'll be okay.
You do know what this badge means, of course, right? We're here on very important business, and we'd like to be able to speak to Miss Bunsen here promptly.
Does anyone have, like, persuade or anything, that skill they might want to roll for this?
I have 30.
I have a 40 in persuade.
I also have a 40 in persuade.
So it should not be me.
You spoke the most recent.
I have a 50 in bureaucracy.
I will allow bureaucracy as well.
All right.
I will roll for that.
Go.
Right.
58 over 50.
Ooh. He looks like he's standing his ground on this. Like, really, he kind of starts, like, shuffling past you guys, but, like, also keeping his arm out a little bit. And he kind of opens the door. And he's like, "Hey, John!"
Gosh.
And he
Well,
kind of starts waving over and waving over. And like you guys, if you look out, you can see two figures like on the other, kind of on like the eastern edge of the circle. They look like they're almost yelling at each other. And like the one coming towards you guys just kind of throws his hand out at the other guy, kind of just like, shut up, kind of look, and starts running over. He's like, "What's going on, Lucas?" He's like, I got some CIA agents in here. What? I wasn't told anything. And he steps in, and he's probably in his mid-30s. He looks probably like his family's from the area, more like native versus colonized. What's going on? He said you guys were CIA agents. I wasn't told anything about any federal agents coming up.
We had not informed anyone that we were coming. You must be John Gibson.
Yeah.
I'm Agent Adams. This is Agent Steele. That's Agent Bellamy. We are here on federal business. We were hoping to speak to your prisoner about an unrelated topic to the murders that she's currently under investigation for. And your very helpful deputy said that we should speak with you about that.
Unrelated? What's it about?
It's about her research.
Oh. He walks over to his desk and he's kind of looks like he's ruminating. I don't want to cause a lot of problems right now. I've got a lot going on, so yeah, here, I'll take you back to her.
We appreciate that, Sheriff. Thank you.
Just try to be quick if you can.
We'll be as quick as we can, Sheriff. We don't want to waste your time or our own.
I appreciate it. And he takes you to a back room, and there's bars in like a 5x5 square. And there's this woman back there. She kind of in a old, not cleaned recently, lab jacket type of a deal. She's got very frizzy yellow hair, kind of pacing and then when you guys come in, she looks over. What? Have you finally come to your senses? You letting me out of here?
Miss Bunsen?
Yes, I haven't seen you. Who are you?
Miss Bunsen, I'm Agent Adams, CIA. We were sent here for a confidential federal investigation, and we just have a few questions for you. It is not related to your current predicament.
You guys are federal agents. Can you convince this sheriff to let me out of here? I've been here for 2 days.
We might be able to try, but we do not have that kind of executive power, but...
Yeah, John is still standing there. He's like, I'd appreciate it if you didn't try to do that.
Oh, he's still standing there. That makes sense.
What is this about? If it's not about the murders, is this about my research?
Yes. Agent Steele, you have more experience on this than I do.
How did you get a hold of my research? I've only been sending it to my advisor at the university.
It's an interesting subject, what you've been finding, of course. The subject of the matter, of course, is this specimen that you have. Have you been able to collect any samples, of course, to a lab or research area, or do you have to keep it in the natural environment?
I've been able to move and transplant some of it. I could show you if I wasn't stuck back here.
Okay.
But yes, I've been able to do lots of experiments over the last year and a half.
Yeah, you discovered a year and a half ago?
A little bit earlier than that, but I got my grant here about a year and a half ago, and I've been working away on this stuff. It's very interesting. I don't know how much of my report you've read. I've never seen anything like it.
Did you have any assistants or other research partners here?
No, it's just been me. I'm kind of local, not from this town, but I'm from the area, so I was fine being here by myself.
Did you have any other, not necessarily assistants, but have anyone else that was assisting you with this?
Oh, yeah, I asked the doctor several times to help me out. Not Dr. Uriah, but his son.
What was his name?
Peter. He's been helping me out. Uriah he was usually fairly busy, but Peter had enough free time to help me out. Of course, he doesn't have that anymore.
Of course, my condolences. You say you've been sending your findings back to the university?
On occasion, when I can.
When you can? Okay.
It's hard to get postage through, so I try to make sure I have a lot to say in my updates. What is this about exactly? I'm excited someone's looking into my research, but I am also a little protective of my research. Especially if the government suddenly is jumping in on us?
That is, of course, understandable. You have to understand this is a matter of security. We can't tell you why we're looking into this.
I'm certain these plants could have nothing to do with...
But your findings could be very important. Where was the specimen originally found? Was it found in the mines?
No, just outside of town. It's been spreading about throughout the area, so it's not all that hard to find at this point.
In which direction has it been originating?
That's the funny thing. It's popping up very sporadically, almost random. I haven't been able to figure out how it reproduces, how it moves. It just sort of appears. Overnight sometimes. Even when I've tried my best to watch and see where things might come up, it still feels like they just appear when I'm not looking. Does that make sense? It's crazy, and I've been putting up with it for some time, but it's been a big part of my research is figuring out what's happening here.
Yes, of course. It's been disappearing. Does it look like it disappears entirely with no trace? Does it look like something's eating it?
No, it doesn't disappear. It appears.
Okay, it does appear.
Yes, I haven't seen much of it disappear.
Okay.
Except for, random wildlife destroying it or...
You haven't seen... Has any of the natural wildlife been drawn to, like, eating it over anything else?
I've certainly seen some deer and some moose take part of some of it, but they don't typically go back. It's not a very popular food amongst the animals. I don't think it'd be very healthy for them to be eating consistently either.
We also are on a coastal town. Have you seen if the plant reacts in any way to water?
I don't really want to be this way exactly, but I could fill you in on so much more if I just wasn't in here and I was at my lab. I'm getting very impatient about this. You could tell Peter I clearly had nothing to do with the murder of his father. I don't need to be in here. John just has me in here because he just is too inept to find anything else.
Yes, well, thank you very much for your time, Miss Bunsen. If we have any further questions, we will perhaps try to come back to ask. And, of course, we will look into this matter as well, try to perhaps make you more available to look into these things. You have a good night, of course. And I imagine we'll be speaking again shortly. And Dr. Swelchestill gets up and walks back to the front room.
Yeah, as soon as we're out of the cell room, I want to take the sheriff aside. I'm sure that this investigation is a sensitive matter, but can you tell us anything about what happened?
She called in about the doctor. She said he was dead. We got there. He was dead in her office. And, someone did something nasty to him, and there's no other suspect except for her. I know she...
So you're saying you really don't have any proof?
It's hard to say. Her evidence was all over him. She claims she was just trying to help him, but some nasty stuff went on there. I don't know if you were able to read any reports on that.
We weren't, were we?
Just a little bit of detail.
They mentioned like the body kind of like what overworking itself. Yeah, some parts being the pristine organs. But
do you think it odd at all, Sheriff, that she would call in her own murder?
It's odd, but I mean, sometimes people are going to. Sometimes that feels like a safe thing to do. Draw attention off of yourself by calling it in yourself. I don't know what she's thinking right now. But we haven't had a lot of time. I wanted to spend more time on it today, but things were interrupted.
Yeah, you were arguing with Dan Haley.
Well, there was a second murder today.
While your current suspect is imprisoned.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but what happened to them, Peter, the doctor, was saying it could have been some sort of virus. And a botanist like that, especially experimenting on weird plants, is a prime suspect for weird viruses. The man was found in the mines, dead. Well, on a shift. And his whole body's worn itself out except for his liver and his small intestines, Peter says. Everything else messed up. Now I'm starting to think it wasn't a person with a knife doing all this, like I originally might have thought. I don't know what happened, and right now, she's the only person I could think of who would have the ability to do something like this, if it wasn't physical.
She might also be the only person around who'd be able to help.
I don't know. This guy hardly ever around Uriah. It's not like it would have spread from one to the other.
Does she have any connection to the man who died in the mine?
To Bobby, I don't think I don't know.
Did
I
you
haven't
ask
gotten
her?
I haven't gotten a chance to ask her yet.
Mm.
I just got finished trying to seal off the mine for as a crime scene.
Well, you seem like you've got a lot on your plate, Sheriff. We can maybe help you with this.
I don't. You guys are here on other business, I imagine. I don't know if I need to drag you in on a murder case like this.
Well, after our conversation, I'm thinking our investigation and yours might have a little bit more in common than I first thought. Not sure, of course. Still loose threads that we need to connect. But I think we could get a lot more information from her if she wasn't locked up. Or just let us do some of our own investigating.
I'm not willing to let her out yet, but I admit this is a little out of my depth. If you guys want to try and help out with the investigation, I'm not going to say no. I don't know what it has to do with your classified information, but sure.
We'll be as discreet as possible, Sheriff.
Well, maybe you could convince Dan to shut down the mine so we can actually investigate what happened.
We'll speak with him.
Sheriff, would you happen to know where the bodies have been kept?
Yeah, the doctor's at the Kent's. He's got a morgue.
Okay. And that's both bodies are at the morgue right now?
Yeah.
Small town, not sure if you heard some things. We happen to know, since he's the doctor, if this miner happened to just be a patient of his a day or two ago. Sore throat, anything like that.
Peter didn't really take patients as father Uriah did. But now that Uriah's passed, Peter's going to probably be taking all of those.
I just had a thought, Sheriff. You mentioned not knowing what happened to Dr. Uriah and Bobby. Did you say his name was the man?
Bobby
in the mine?
Newman.
Bobby Newman. Could it be possible that this is more of a... You mentioned a virus, perhaps. I know
Some of them.
Could be something that the doctor picked up treating a patient. Might not be connected at all to Miss Bunsen.
I mean, that's always possible, but it's more violent than just a virus, you know? Like, there are parts of him. Here, let me take you to the morgue and I'll show you what I mean.
All right.
The sheriff's looking kind of tired, kind of frustrated about the situation, and then kind of moves you guys out of the office, looks back for a second towards the back room, and then closes the door, and we cut to black.
Thank you for listening to the Records of the Unknown Operation Latency. Records of the Unknown is an Atomic Broadcasting production. Delta Green is copyright of Arc Dreams Publishing. Operation Latency is not published or endorsed by Arc Dreams Publishing and is an original module created and run by Samuel Sarver. Our players are Nolan as Dr. Sylvester Steele, Abby as Bernadette Birdie Bellamy, and Harrel as Corporal Alexander Adams. Music in the show is from Monument Studios, as well as various artists. If you enjoy the show, be sure to subscribe or follow the Atomic Broadcasting Network on your favorite listening platform. If you want to stay in touch, you can follow us on our socials listed in the description. Join the community in our Discord server to be notified of future uploads and join in on the conversation of what's to come. Don't forget to like, comment, and tell a friend. And as always, have an atomic time.
My name is... my accent is changing. Hang on.
That's a long name.
Let me tune it back in.